Hello everyone, my name is John Michael Bushman and welcome back to Hearthstone. Now, I was going to record something else, but this takes priority. These guys, the whole mini set in particular, has completely taken over Hearthstone, and everybody and their mother is going to try and have been trying to break all of the cards that have come out of this mini set. And one of the early winners are the ZERG, and they are, well, let me just say, they are rushing it just like they did way back in Starcraft. And not gonna lie, I didn't exactly have strong feelings for this set, but the moment I started hearing the voice lines out of the Terran units, I was over the freaking moons. I played a little bit of Starcraft way back when, but I was more of a Warcraft kid more than I was a Starcraft kid. Hearing the lines out of the like I said, hearing the lines out of the Terran units, you know, in rear with the gear in particular, just rings a lot of nostalgia in me that I just could not help myself. And I bought, well, I only bought like the singular faction packs. I don't really like the Protoss. In fact, I never really liked the Protoss cards. I looked over all of them, and the only ones that I really did like are the Terran and the Zerg ones. For Zerg in particular, the early chatter is they seem to be the clear winners out of this mini set, simply because they are very aggressive and it doesn't exactly take a lot to make them powerful. People had their doubts at first that this mini set will be underpowered simply because it's it is an in-house collaboration, so people didn't really expect too much out of it, but per class got about 8 to 6 cards, and there are like a couple of class exclusive ones, and some were better than others, but the ones that we did get, especially the ones that are shareable across all of the classes, they're all pretty goddamn decent. We're actually going to look at one of the winners, well, quote unquote winners of the early builds. We're basically in week 1 by the time I'm recording this video on January the 25th. I am recording this a little earlier than usual, simply because they will be doing a maintenance, a server-wide maintenance, if I'm reading this notification correctly, on Monday. And Monday is usually when I record stuff, and similar to the Yu-Gi-Oh video that just came out before this, if the audio quality sounds a little different, it's because I'm in a different location. People have said that this seemed strong on the surface. Yes, it's strong for standard. Though when people try to port this over to wild, it's not actually that impactful. I mean, granted, it does pack a punch, but not in the area that people expected it to. The winner for wild, at least for the ZERG Dirty Rat, and it's an even better Dirty Rat because it gives your other ZERG reborn, and they attack that minion that that it grabbed out of the opponent's hand. And lo and behold, this entire deck is built around this bastard right here, the Infestor, where it has a death rattle, where your Zerg minions have +1/+1 for the rest of the game. This stacks, and every time the Infestor dies, it just keeps adding up and adding up and adding up. And there's a reason why there are a lot of stuff here that gives this guy in particular, reborn. So, and of course, a way to trigger that death rattle multiple times. So without further ado, we're going to get into this deck tech right here. First off, we have Baneling Barrage. It just gets a guy, it's not imposing at first, but once the Infestor gets all of these stats stacking up, sometimes the Banelings are like 4/4s, or on average, they're about like 3/3s or 4/4s. And those are usually more than enough. No, Pinkhawk, I'm in the middle of a freaking deck tech. I will talk to you later. So the Baneling is a pseudo board wipe, but it's also a decent attacker at that. But once all of this buffs from the Infestor stack up, this becomes extremely, extremely dangerous. And I mean, it explodes, yes, but, it only really explodes simply because it's just flavor, it's a death rattle thing. And then if you control another Zerg minion, you basically get 2. So it's a 1-mana draw 2, which is surprisingly powerful for the Death Knight. Then up next is a Death Growl, which, if you don't already know, it spreads the death rattle to adjacent minions. So what you would usually do is you put the infestor in the middle of two other units, usually in the middle of two zerglings, and then you spread the death rattle of the infestor there. So if the zerglings die, they would also spread the +1/+1 throughout the entirety of the brood. Once all of the death rattles pile up, the average that I see this number go for is about 5 to 7, and then they're pretty much unkillable at that point. And then coming up next, Miracle Salesman. It's card draw. Alongside the Chill Fallen Baron here. These two are in the deck simply because Death Knight doesn't exactly have card draw. It has a lot of card advantage, yes, but card draw basically doesn't exist for the class, at least at this point in time. The class is pretty young, and that is a discussion that I got into in the Wild Hearthstone subreddit. That's basically Death Knight's biggest problem right now, is that it's too young to compete against the Titans, and by the Titans I mean like the OG 9 classes. Demon Hunter has gotten better over time, but Death Knight is still way too new in order to be able to compete against the weapons that the other classes have. So that's what Miracle Salesman and Chill Fallen Baron are here for. And then Orbital Moon is a specific card for this deck in particular, where you have to have played an adjacent card in order to get the coveted Reborn, and you would usually put it on the Infestor. You really want the Infestor to die as often as possible so that you can keep stacking up all of these buffs onto all of your Zerglings. But yeah, that's literally its only purpose. It gives Reborn, and the Taunt and Lifesteal also helps, especially in the aggressive matchups. And then Spawning Pool just gets you more Zerglings. I mean, what more can I say? It's a 1-mana location, and you can use it twice, but this is over the course of about 4 turns, so do be careful with it. Although, if you manage to draw it off of the Nidus Worm, it's a 0-mana location, and that is insane value. Then, of course, you have the Zergling. I mean, yeah, it's a Zergling. What more can I say? It's a 1-mana 2/2 basically, but it's a 1-mana creature spread across 2 bodies. I don't need to say anymore. It's called Zerg Rush for a reason. The memes about it exist for a reason. There are a lot of these guys, and they will never stop until you thin out the swarm. If you're familiar with the Tyranids in Warhammer lore, then the Zergling are pretty much their successors, so to speak. Because if I remember correctly, Starcraft came out after Warhammer, so there are definitely some influences that you can see here and there. So, but I'm not going to get too much into the weeds into that. Then, of course, Brittlebone Buccaneer. After you play a Death Rattle minion, you'll give it Reborn. Again, another way for the Infestor to, repeatedly get its Death Rattle going. Then Brood Queen, your card advantage, well, quote-unquote card advantage engine. I did not mean to do that. I just wanted to highlight all of the Zerg cards. There we go. All right, Brood Queen. It gives you a larva on your hand, and as we'll get to later, Kerrigan also gives you Brood Queens. And it transforms into a random Zerg minion. Note that this is all of the Zerg minions. So there are 4 classes that are under the Zerg umbrella here, as you can see. That would be Death Knight, Hunter, and Warlock and Demon Hunter. But basically, a lot of the aggressive classes, they're all under the Zerg flag, and then they have a couple of shared cards across them, and then there are also a couple of other class exclusive cards among them. And then going back to the Brood Queen, it gives you Larva, and it transforms into a random Zerg minion every time. Do note that sometimes you have to wait for this, because there is one Zerg minion in particular that is just absolutely worthless at the moment, and it's the Warlock one. The one that is a taunt minion, that's a 1/6, and then if you have a location, it gets +2 attack, so it's a 3/6. It seems decent, but in order to get the maximum amount of value for that thing, you would usually skip over that, and instead you would aim for the Hydralisk instead, or hell, even another copy of an Infestor. So there is that, and that's what the Brood Queen is. And it also doesn't help that she is very, very decently set at a 2/5, so it survives about 2 damage-based removal spells. And then once that has happened, then you are free to do basically everything else. And then of course, the Infestor, the entire deck is built around this thing. You would stack like this effect 5 to 6 times, and then your opponent would usually not be able to recover after that fact. Then Nidus Swarm here, this is a 3-mana draw 2, and it also discounts your ZERG cards. No, it's ZERG cards. So if you draw another Nidus Swarm, it will become a 2-mana draw 2. It's going to keep reducing the cost of whatever it is you do draw. And casting Kerrigan for 6 mana feels really, really nice. And then, of course, we have ETC here. It's just a sideboard, and our sideboard in particular would be Smothering Starfish. I finally had the dust to craft at least one of it. It is just a sideboard card after all. It's not good for all matchups. It's only good for certain ones. Plate Breaker is still surprisingly relevant because I face off against a lot of mage for some weird reason the moment I started playing with Zergs here. Then, of course, Bob the Bartender as a versatile removal spell. More than anything else. Then going back to highlighting the Zerg here, the Viper. I mean, this is Dirty Rat 2.0. It gives your more important Zergs reborn, and then once you already have a couple of effects stacked with the Infestor at that point, it's going to be really painful. Then Yelling Yodeler, making the Infestor trigger twice, definitely helps out. So getting a +2/+2 out of 4 mana, and again, she's also like surprisingly decently statted, so that is something to keep in mind. And then, of course, No Muncher. This is a card that is agreed upon by the Wild Hearthstone subreddit would be a better option over Airlock Breach at the moment, simply because in certain matchups you don't generate enough corpses in order to make full use of Airlock Breach, giving you 2 5/5 taunts. This guy also has the very important keyword of lifesteal. It also helps that at the end of your his ability here, where he attacks the lowest health enemy, doesn't seem like anything at first, but when you realize that this sentence right here bypasses being frozen, then you start realizing that this guy is insanely powerful and highly underrated by their opinion. And I have seen it in action. He is almost always the target that's being frozen, and then people keep forgetting that he attacks no matter what. He doesn't even need to like go into the red zone for us Magic players out there. Then of course, the linchpin of this deck, the boss, the mommy herself, Kerrigan, the Queen of Blades, fully transformed into a Zerg at this point. I'm familiar enough with Starcraft lore to know that she used to be human, and she was captured by the Zerg and was transformed into their queen. She summons out 2 Brood Queens as her battle cry, and then deals 3 damage to all enemies. And then her hero power, where it deals 3 damage randomly split among all enemies. In the matchup that I face off on the ladder right now, I mean, I'm a little low on my MMR right now, but I think it's just as well because I don't face off against Libram Paladin or Seedlock anymore. And I face off against a far broader spectrum of decks, so I can really see this deck's strengths and weaknesses. Against slower decks, Kerrigan is a solo carry. Once your opponent, especially Mage, who love to freeze your board down, you have like 7 minions on board, you can just keep spamming Ravage and nothing else. Just deal 9 damage and across like all of the bodies that are on board. Or hell, if your mage opponent in particular has no minions on board, that's 9 damage directly to the face. And if your mage opponent doesn't do anything about it, they're going to die to Kerrigan and Kerrigan alone. I have been debating whether or not to get the skin, the mythic skin for Kerrigan, and to be honest, it's honestly not worth the $60. As much as I want Mommy Kerrigan to dominate me, it's not worth $60. If it were like $30, I would be far more acceptable of it, but unfortunately it's way too expensive even for someone like me. So that is the deck tech, and the only thing that is basically holding this deck back from the Hunter variant is this guy needs to die multiple times. While that doesn't seem like a problem in a class like Death Knight, the turn that you would actually start popping off is about turn 4 or 5. And from the conversations I've had in the Wild Hearthstone subreddit, that is a little too slow for Wild. I definitely agree. I have faced off against a couple of stray Libram Paladins in the lower MMR, although granted, I'm still like in the top 3,000, so that is still a decent number of players. Turn 4 or 5 in order to pop off is definitely a little slow. Unlike the Hunter variant, where they are lower to the ground, yes, and their damage output is slightly lower compared to this. But the Hydralisk gives you reach that the Infestor doesn't give you. The Demon Hunter variant is also pretty close, simply because the Lurker, we're actually gonna find him in a moment. So give me a second while we go look for the Lurker ZERG, which is located among the larger collection here. So we're going to go into crafting, we're going to go into ZERG, and yeah, these are the 3 exclusive cards for Demon Hunter, and then there's this guy. After friendly minion attacks, deal 1 damage to random enemy. Doesn't seem like much, and then you realize it will be 2 if you control a ZERG minion. I have finished people off solely with this guy. 2 of them on board. It's just an insane amount of damage. And never typed in chat, subscribe for 40 months. The perfect viewer. Oh my god. Sometimes I'm going to make that into a video where I read the flavor text of a certain batch of cards, and Jesus Christ, it's called the Lurker. Yeah, never types in chat, but it's subscribed for 40 months. Yeah, it's definitely a Lurker. Oh my god. Before I, dwell on the flavor text for too long, let's just get into the games.
Foxy versus the Thunder King.
I honestly love it every time the innkeeper announces the Thunder King. He just announces it with so much freaking gusto. And one thing I learned, if you open with Brittlebone Buccaneer and Infestor, it's an auto keep. No matter what everything else is in the hand, you automatically keep hands that have both the Brittlebone Buccaneer and the Infestor. So we're going to get into that in a bit. Pinkhawk, I'm going to talk to you in a bit. Let me get through this game first. Okay, so we're going to put the Brittlebone Buccaneer down as early as possible, simply because she generates us with the largest amount of advantage, more than anything else. And we're just going to mess with controls a little. And this is like the other class that I face off in this specific rank of the Legend ladder. It's Totem Shaman. And if not Totem Shaman, then I also face off against a lot of Mage for some reason, and it's Hostage Mage at that. I don't know why they're like this low, but I guess it's definitely the premier control deck of Wild right now, simply because they can stall for extremely long periods of time, and I guess now is a good time as any to get the Infested on, because we have the Brittlebone Buccaneer down anyway. So yeah, we put it down. Then we give it Reborn, and we just swing in. Then this will be Reborn, and then we can play Orbital Moon on it. Oh dear God, we are facing off against Starship Shaman. This is not Totem Shaman. The Shaman cards that are from this set, the Starcraft mini set in particular, they are really goddamn good, like holy shit. So we're gonna start giving our ZERG, the buff that they deserve. Then, you know what, I'm not gonna swing into that. We're gonna swing into this, then we're gonna swing for 5 points of damage at our opponent's face. I am not sure if my opponent has the resource. I mean, granted, they do have. Well, that's one way to deal with my board. Although, giving me +1 spell damage is not nothing, but I guess it's better than having a Infestor do its thing. So there is that. Death Growl is not helpful in the slightest. Gain +1/+1 for each pirate. Holy Cowboy is a decently statted minion, so that is something. I think I'd rather, you know what? We're going to swing into this. Then, normally, well, it's only made of 1. Deal 5 damage to a random enemy. You know what? We're gonna do it this way. We're gonna get rid of the Divine Shield first. And then we'll swing in for our 7 points of damage to my opponent's face. And then, do we play the Banglings? Oh, right, no. We need a Zerg minion on board for that. I think... You know what? She got a +2/+2 anyway, so... And then we're going to get our one card from the Brood Queen. Then we're going to see if that'll amount to something. I'm not quite sure what my opponent... Yep, definitely. Hunter's Mark version 2. Jesus Christ. And there it is, Missile Pod. The best card that Shaman got out of this mini set. And it's so goddamn powerful. Like, my god, this card. Oh my god. So it turned into a Mutalisk. So that's something. Sadly, we can't give it a Rush. The only way for the Mutalisk to ever be really good is if it had Rush. And unfortunately, it doesn't have Rush. So I guess we just swing in for 7. Because my opponent is not exactly going to be doing too much damage here. Do we put down the Mutalisk? I think we should. I honestly think we should. And then we get the Baneling Barrage here, and then we can revive it using the Orbital Moon. Yeah, I think we can do that. We should do that. Then we play an adjacent card. We get our 2 Banelings, but we will give our Taunt and Reborn and Lifesteal onto the Mutalisk over here. And we're going to tell our opponent, good luck, have freaking fun. So there is that. They don't exactly have a lot of damage on board, and okay, sure. Set its health to 1. I don't really care. Wait, does it say set health to 1? I didn't quite read it. Yeah, set a minion's health to 1. Your next starship costs 2. Next starship launch costs 2 less. That's not going to help. And it's still a 7-3. It's not a 5-2, simply because of quote-unquote state-based effects, as J9 called it. Simply because the Infestor has like this effect that is applied for the rest of the game, where all of your Zerg have a permanent +1/+1, or as long as you're in this game. So, oh boy, and that's going to cause a lot of situations that look exactly like this. How do we get our last point of damage without? Wait. No, my opponent isn't exactly dead, unfortunately. So we do that. Unless, hold on. How do we do this? We can give. Oh wait, no. No. How the hell do we fully maximize this? I guess we play the Banelings. Yeah, we should play the Banelings. Then we play the Viper, then see if we pull a minion out of their hand. We do. We pull the Exodar out, so that's a victory and a half. Then we hit our opponent for a bit. Then that happens. That also happens. Then we apply a Death Growl there, and we tell our opponent, good luck. Oh my god. Oh no. I mean, my opponent could still pull themselves out of this because their starship is made of 7 pieces, and I will not be surprised if they somehow manage to clear my board. Okay, yeah, they have like 5 counts on board, but they're all going to die shortly anyway because the Banelings inflict a lot of damage at the moment. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, they're going to use Reincarnate on that thing, which will restore it back to full health. It's not going to cause the battle cries to re-trigger, but we definitely need a way to get through this. Okay, devolve, sure, that neuters my board effectively. So we're going to need to crawl our way out of this one again, unfortunately. And it's going to start by using a Nidus Worm. I could have gotten Gnome Muncher down, but I think we'll be fine here. Ooh, okay. Sure, we'll get the Infestor down. Because these 2 minions don't exactly matter to them. I think I should have put it here instead, between the Spider Tank and the Snow Flipper Penguin. Oh well. I guess we could just put it here instead. And then we use that, put it here. There we go. Still, well, we still got it. Alright. So we attack. Make our Zerg even bigger. Then we swing here. Then we swing here. Then we do this. Then we swing into that. And there we go. I'm not confident about my odds because we don't exactly have a taunt minion in the way. But we're going to see. Okay, yep, we are dead. This is 28 down. Well, we live at 1, but the SCV here is going to definitely kill us. So, yeah, I mean, didn't have a taunt. I should have put the no muncher down. Let's move on to the next game.
Proxy versus Tyrande.
Moon give me strength.
Hostile life form detected.
Sometimes I just like just letting the characters speak. The voice acting in this game is great, but I'm gonna full mulligan this away. It seems blasphemous, but from what I've learned, you always mulligan to the Infestor. And if you don't get the Infestor, well, shit. Let's just hope that the Chill Fallen Baron gets us somewhere, if it even comes to that. We're going to find out soon enough, and we're just going to cut down some vines. We're going to get these coconuts to drop, and then we'll do the bingo bongo bongo drums a bit. Then we'll make that gem fall off there. We only have a Brood Queen coming up, but I'm going to get the Chill Fallen Baron down first. Or we can also get the Brood Queen down and draw our one card. Well, quote-unquote, draw a card from there. It's basically drawing a card, if you think about it. Yeah, no. We're gonna get the Brood Queen down, and we're going to see if it feigns, if it baits out removal out of my opponent here. And granted, it's a 2/5, and from all of the removal that Priest that I know has, it's usually shadow-based stuff. And my opponent didn't enter shadow form, so it's definitely a breath of fresh air, because at the rank of legend that I usually get to, which is about 1,700, I face off against a lot of Shadow Priests, and I am sick and tired of that deck already. And even at this MMR, I face off against a lot of 30-card Shadow Priest at that, and we're facing off against Thief Priest, which is a deck that I still do not want to know the reason why it exists. Like, why does Priest get to steal things? Isn't that a rogue thing? Blizzard, you are ruining the flavor. You are breaking my immersion. Can you guys notice that I cannot do sarcasm well? Well, we have a roach, so that's something. I guess we put it down just as a decently bodied attacker. But look, we need to draw our cards. We need to find that freaking Infestor. If we don't find it, then I guess this will transform into something else. This is also like one of the cards. Why do you have that too? Oh, right, no, because you copied it off of the Identity Theft card. Right. Well, we got a Zergling and a Viper. We could, I mean, I'm gonna play that next turn, just not now. Let's see here. I don't want to have to do that one yet, unfortunately. So, I think... No, we should still wait. We have 9 cards in hand, unfortunately, and we need to spend somewhere. So, I'm not going to give my opponent value. We're just going to swing in. And then we'll set... I guess we'll put a Zergling down, come to think of it. Yeah, just so that we have hand space. And then, as much as I want to put this Brood Queen down, I think it'll be better for later. So, we're just going to put the Brittlebone Buccaneer down, just as a, you know, investment for the future. And hopefully it gets somewhere. But I'm not too sure if it'll even get anywhere in the first place. So, okay, my opponent is playing a Highlander variant of Thief Priest. So, there is that. Okay, yep. And we're exchanging it now. Kerrigan is a good draw, but I'm looking for the goddamn Infestor. I need a freaking Infestor. Oh my god, that's not the Infestor! Mutalisk is good though. It's a decently statted attacker at that, so I guess we put it down. We could kill this guy, but I'm going to choose not to. I'm just going to ignore it for now, and it's going to get a reborn out of the Brittlebone Buccaneer. As much as I want to attack it, I think I should just go face more than anything else. We can safely ignore our opponent for the time being, because our life total isn't exactly in danger. And my opponent is definitely going to try and save up resources. until such a time where something else like happens on board. And yeah, if my opponent's just going to do this, then that means a lot of the stuff in their hand is okay. Then he's going to wipe my board, sure. So we are back to burning. That is not a Gucci in the slightest. I guess we get no. I mean, as much as I want to get no muncher down, we need to. Again, our life total isn't exactly in danger at the moment, so I guess we just do it like this. Then we put the roach down, so it becomes a 3-4. And then, do we draw our 1 card? Yes, we will draw 1 card. There we go. Bailing Barrage is something. So, we will get a larva in hand, and that'll be 9 cards in hand. Next card in hand will be... Oh god, I forgot that he has been stealing shit out of... What? Oh, I'm assuming he's going to... Okay, I thought you were going to silence the Brood Queen, but I guess that's worthless because Deafen only inflicts 2 damage, so that won't kill the Brood Queen. But he does. Nidus Worm is not nothing. As much as I want to get Kerrigan down, I think we should fight with our own No Muncher. As weird as that sounds, we need to fight with our own No Muncher. Then we give it Reborn. Oh my god, just so that it comes back as an additional blocker. There we go. And let's see if my opponent responds to that. I believe all of our Brood Queens have been taken care of, if I remember correctly. Then the only Brood Queens we'll be getting now are from Kerrigan. So we'll find out soon enough. Gets us somewhere. Spawning Pool is something, but wait, what does this guy do again? For the rest of the game, your hero power refreshes whenever you play a card. So that is worthless. So we just swing into this. And then do I get the Viper down? They will all be getting reborn anyway, so I think that'll be fine. So we get the Zergling down. It's not easy being a queen. Yes, indeed. Then we get yeah, we get Baneling Barrages down. Then this costs 4, right? Yeah. So we do this. And then we do this. Then we get Viper. Let's see if we pull a minion out of their hand. I'm assuming it will be something important. Okay, it is important. Okay, yep. So all of those will die. It'll inflict 2 damage there. Then everyone else we got back. And there we go. It's as if we didn't lose anybody. Then that attacks. Then that dies. Comes back with Reborn. And poof. Again, as if we didn't lose anything. Alright. Let's see if my opponent... Okay, Mass Hysteria. That is fine. It's better than nothing. So let's see. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the only one who lives will definitely be the Viper since it has the biggest booty. And we're going to see. I mean, this is a pretty slow going match. Like, holy shit. Granted, they are a Highlander deck, so they're probably waiting for 10 mana. And they created a copy, and it glowed yellow, so that's likely a legendary minion. Okay, yep, Zephyrus the Great, sure. They are going to get something that'll hopefully get... Okay, then. They're not going to do anything about it yet. I guess we get the Nidus Worm, or... Actually, no. We're going to get... we're going to transform to Kerrigan now. Then we swing in for 5. There we go. Then get 3. There we go. Then this will be 6 damage. Okay, here. Take 6, opponents. Then we draw 2 cards from the 2 Brood Queens, and hopefully that'll be enough. So... We're going to see if my opponent still has something for us here. I'm assuming yes, given that it's frickin' Priest. Then, I had to keep quiet there because it's Jaraxxus, the OG meme of Hearthstone. I gotta give my due respect. If you know what I'm referring to, you can go look up the Jaraxxus meme on YouTube. It's like it's an 11-year-old video, and it still gets views to this day. And it's going to be a blast watching through it. If you haven't already watched it, so get to it then. Oh god, yeah, I keep forgetting that he refreshes his hero power every time he just literally plays any card. So we're likely dead here? Question mark. We're going to find out soon enough. First things first. I guess we play spawning pool. There we go. Then we... okay, so we should map this out. So this is 7, so we only have room for a couple more units here. So we get this down. Though those two happen. Then we play this. Play a Hydralisk, which will hopefully kill something. If not, that's fine. Then we get this. And then we're going to play a Viper. There we go. By the way, this entire game we didn't get any infestor, like, at all. So that's sad. And we're likely going to die soon here, simply because there's like 18 no wait, not just 18, 21 damage on board, and then my opponent can also attack. So I'm not gonna make you guys sit through this. I am highly likely going to lose very soon, and there's also the fact that his hero power refreshes every time he plays a card. So my odds are stacked against me, but unless I somehow win, I'm going to tell you guys about it. But otherwise, I am not hopeful about my odds here. So I'll see you guys at the next interesting point.
Proxy versus villain.
So after a couple thousand years, I was finally able to finish that previous game, and we're now onto a new one. Normally I would like full mulligan this and find the infestor, but we're going to leave at least one miracle salesman behind because we're going second anyway. And the coin could potentially help us here. And we didn't get it, but we got a Nidus one. And both copies, in fact. So we're facing off against Shadow Priest. Great. Definitely, oh my god, that is desperation if I ever saw one. Like, starting off with Patches the Pirate, like, immediately on turn 1. That is a huge sign of weakness, and we got Infestor on turn 1. Cool. I mean, as much as I want to do that, I'm not going to. No. We're going to save the Orbital Moon for the Infestor. Or we can draw our cards first. But definitely, we're going to play the Infestor, like, immediately on turn 2. And, yeah, I mean, to be expected, it's going to get killed on that turn. So there is that. So we do this. Then we play the Infestor out. And dare our opponent to kill it. But I'm assuming they will, more than anything else, because if they know anything about the mini set, is that like everyone else, they're pretty surprised at how powerful it frickin' was. So that's saying something. Ooh, wow, okay. My opponent is not doing anything. Well, nothing yet. We can give it Reborn. Well, we can't give it Reborn yet. Is trading it considered playing the card? We will find out. No, it does not, unfortunately. So we definitely screwed that one up. But we can at least kill the Infestor here, which is unfortunate. I didn't want to have to do that, but at least it's at least Patches is out of the way. We can't exactly kill the Hosen Roughhouser just yet, simply because its butt is too huge. Good God, why is this a 2/4? A lot of the pirates, actually, the really good ones at that, they're all at neutral, and they're all neutrals, which continues to boggle my mind that the best pirates are neutral, and they can be used by literally everyone. I have heard stories of people who pilot these so-called oops all neutral decks, and it usually never ends well from what I hear, but the ones that do end well, they end like really well, surprisingly. Especially over time as Legends got better. It is possible to do an all neutrals deck. But I haven't found a deck list in that mindset that interests me, because it usually just involves like just spamming out of just the best ones, and there isn't really anything too spicy about it. So there is that. Although you can lock people out with the Saturnite Chain Gangs plus Velen combination. Then once you get through that, well, I mean, what else can I say? Oh my god. We can use Nidus Worm here. Well, we can, but should I guess. Well, actually, yeah, we use Nidus Worm. Well, that Nidus Worm in particular. Ooh, that is something. A 2-mana Brood Queen is always freaking nice. Then we get more Zerglings down. There we go. And we're going to continue pressuring our opponent here until we get another freaking Infester. The mere fact that we just got a blanket +1/+1 is already giving my opponent a lot of headaches. Simply because they have to spend a lot of their creatures on shit like this. And granted, a lot of their creatures also have like decent abilities that can, you know, effortlessly clear away my board. But if they aren't doing that, then they're doing shit like this, which is equally as devastating. So there is that. Ooh, no muncher is always nice. I mean, we should just slam that down more than anything else. Do I throw away the queen? As much as I want to, I honestly think I should. The no muncher will take care of quite literally everything else. And this has already been buffed, so I guess we get rid of that. And then the no muncher will hopefully kill something else. That's not nothing, so there is that. Now my opponent has one card in hand and a dream, and Jesus Christ, for the first time in my life, I'm actually in control of a freaking game. Good God, there's a reason why a lot of Death Knight players look to this guy to currently beat like bullshit like this. Like, good God, man. Mutalisk is not nothing, but we have to play out the Nidus Worm here and hopefully get something good. That is something good. Baneling Barrage is also very nice. I guess we play out the spawning pool. There we go. Then we do this. We get a Zergling out. And then we play the Zergling out. There we go. Now we use the Baneling Barrage. There we go. Then we play the 2 Banelings out. There we go. And then we swing in, gain a little bit of health back. And then we use the Death Growl here, so that if my opponent thinks of anything funny, then they're going to, well, be in for it. And, okay then. That is fine by me. The Hosen Roughhouser all by himself is not going to do too much here, and we have literally gained back all of our health. I was just gonna auto-concede simply because it's Shadow Priest, but if they're not gaining any advantage at all, then we just might win this. Another Infester, and finally a win against the fucking menace of my life, Shadow Priest. Good God. Let's move on to the end screen. Okay, we're here at the end screen, and as you can see, it is very powerful. Don't get me wrong, the ZERG faction is arguably the early leader out of this race that people are trying to figure out how to very properly break all of the cards out of the Starcraft mini set. And Zergs are like leading the race by leaps and bounds, and good God, it is powerful. However, this particular build has one very, very fatal flaw, and that is requiring this guy to die as often as possible. And that is not easy in the wild format, where a lot of decks are a lot faster than you. And as you saw with that Shadow Priest match, you know, if they stumble around, yes, you can eke out a win here and there. A lot of other decks are going to be much, much faster than that. My opponent at that moment probably just fumbled in their draws a bit. They couldn't relieve themselves of the pressure that the Zerg are giving in time, so that's why they lost. But normally, that is an outlier, and normally it would never ever be that lucky. Death Knight variant is a little too slow at the moment, but I will not be surprised if people find a way to just break this in the future. Very powerful effect at that, and the build here is basically the week 1 build. It's literally just the standard deck. The only thing that's making it wild viable is because of the stuff that's put in the ETC board. But otherwise, a lot of these stuff are legal in standard right freaking now, and you can literally just play this deck in standard, just change up the ETC board, and you'll be fine transferring this deck in between formats, and you're gonna have a lot of fun with it. And honestly, I love this style of gameplay. I mean, as much as I love control style gameplay, this is apparently the Hearthstone that a lot of the older players miss, where the board matters more and the win cons are extremely telegraphed and come in from a mile away, and it will give you time to prepare for it. And this is the gameplay that they always say is what they miss the most. And from the comments I've also seen, I mean, there's still like modern sensibilities here and there, but it's fair modern sensibilities. This is the power level that people want and expect out of Hearthstone, not the broken stuff that us Yu-Gi-Oh players are used to. And yes, I consider myself more of a Yu-Gi-Oh player than a Hearthstone player, although my primary game will always be Magic, but that's a different story. But this kind of gameplay is honestly far more refreshing compared to the bullshit that I have to go through whenever I climb the ladder using Libram Paladin. And I would prefer if the gameplay were like this instead of that. So if you guys like what you saw, hit like, comment, subscribe, and share among your friends. And until next time, toodles.